Okay, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'Shem, Makar Kadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders, and honors to Akim pushing his truth out and sincerity, all right? So, I'm going to start off with Matthew 24 and 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
That's right, man. And that's what we're seeing right now. Right in front of our eyes, the prophecies are coming to pass. Now it's up to you. The Lord set up men, chosen men, the elect, the prophets, to go out there in the highways and byways to speak these things, man. So the Lord's with you to see it happening, then that's a beautiful thing. But if you can't see this happening in front of your eyes, you can't see the downfall of this man's kingdom. All right, and you want to live your life and party and bullshit, as they say, and not get right with the Lord, you won't be destroyed along with this so-called white man's kingdom.
Yeah, I saw on YouTube is a channel called YN, I think it's WION, and the title was UN hosts special meet on global food security crisis, warns that food crisis could last decades. So it's gonna be a nationwide famine and a global famine, according to the scriptures.
And that's end time prophecies. Ain't nothing less than what we expect.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, this is Ezekiel 33, and I'll start at 31. It says, "And they come to thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them."
That's right. So we got they hear the word, our people hear it, but they don't do it.
For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart go after their covetousness.
Yeah, so they say they do it, but it's like living a double life. They not conducting themselves the right way. That's why the angels is always watching. The angels are watching, and the men of the Lord are watching when you doing your day-to-day activities.
And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that has a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument, for they hear the words, but they do them not.
Yeah, so you got people amongst Israel, the teachers that's are supposed to be teaching, but they doing the opposite thing in the world.
Yeah, if I could add on, like you got our people that listen to us prophesy like it's entertainment, like it's just a song. This word is a song, like the Book of Psalm. All right, it is a song. But people act like, yo, this is just some type of entertainment. You hear it and then in one ear and out the other, on to the next. I'm continuing, but it says, and can't play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when this comes to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet has been among them.
Yeah, then they're gonna know when everything that's been mentioned here, the MOTB, all right, them hot shots and them pestilence that's gonna take place, global wide famine, then nationwide first, then global wide famine that's gonna take place, financial collapse and scarcity of goods, food. Then they're gonna know that the men of the Lord that's been out through the 4 seasons, year in and year out, that it's gonna be too late. Then it's gonna be a famine of the word, right?
Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Destruction cometh, and they shall see peace, and there shall be none.
Yeah, destruction is coming, and people gonna seek peace. It's not gonna be any peace. Okay. So right now, look, as destruction is gonna happen. It's gonna be people invading one another, robbing and spoiling for goods, putting each other to death. And on Fox Business News, Maria Bartiromo, she said we may very well be in a recession right now, meaning a lack of production in this country. All right, and that's what we headed. That's where we at right now. It's gonna be a lack of production, and that's sometimes and somewhat that could be worse than a depression. All right.
It says, mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet.
Yeah, they're gonna be seeking. They're gonna be seeking the Lord's men, but it's gonna be a famine of the word. All right, there's gonna be a famine of the word, and there's gonna also be a famine.
It says, but the Lord shall perish from the priests and counsel from the ancients.
All right, so the men of the Lord is not going to be out here soon. Cause that's why I say seek the Lord in the day of thy youth. Oh, I'm sorry,
That's my brother. Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 10. And he spread it before me, and it was written within. And without, and there was written therein lamentation, mourning, and woe.
Lamentations, all right. Mourning, people gonna be mourning and woe and destruction. All right, it's gonna be mass death out here in the streets. The body's gonna be out here like dung, and it's gonna cause disease because a body's supposed to immediately be put in the ground. You know, you're really not supposed to be having these funerals with the body being viewed. Really, technically, the body supposed to go immediately in the ground. Okay, because it's unclean, and it's like it pollutes the air and the things around it. All right, like I don't want to keep yabbering, but you know, you could have like a spoiled meat next to a good meat, and that spoiled meat will make the good meat go bad. It don't even have to touch, but being that's in the air, you get what I'm saying? So like those bodies are not going to be in the ground, and it's going to cause more death.
And just to add on to what you're saying, that happened in 2019, 2020, when this whole, you know, this whole plan, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When they first brought this virus.
All right, I say look up Captain Trips. Just put Captain Trips in Google. All right.
All right, cool. So when that happened, you had bodies all over the place, bodies in plastic bags, bodies getting tossed out of moving buses. You know, there was just throwing bodies all over the place, man.
Yeah.
So that's really what it was, man. Anybody was trying to bury nothing because everybody was trying to protect themselves and their families. You know, and after that, you know, basically been downhill. It's been downhill for this place.
Oh.
It's the book of St. Luke, the 7th chapter, and I'm gonna start with the 31st verse because the brother said earlier that, you know, this is like a song. You know, these words that we speak, these are actually, you know, this is a song, but it's only for the elect. Okay, so the rest of, you know, the 2/3 of Israel, all right, are not gonna be able to hear the song, all right, which is the message in the prophecies that's going out into the four corners of earth. And this is St. Luke 7 verses 31, and it reads, and the Lord said, whereunto then shall I liken the men of this generation, and to what are they like? They are like unto children sitting in a marketplace, and calling one to another, and saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned to you, and ye have not wept. Which means you don't understand the melody of the song. You know, you don't understand the melody of the song, and the melody of songs is, as the brother just brought out in Ezekiel, mournings, lamentations, weeping, and destruction.
Yes. Okay.
This is Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 22. It says, "For my people is foolish; they have not known me."
That's right. The 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they have not known the Lord. They basically, they trying to have fun, get high, or level up. All right.
They are sottish children;
Yeah, meaning foolish.
they have none understanding.
They don't have understanding. They have spiritual understanding. All right. They believe in Esau's system and his philosophies, his wine, and that's what's gonna get them caught up.
They are wise to do evil,
Yeah, they wise to do evil, man. They wise to sell their drugs, set someone up.
but to do good they have no knowledge.
In the last times, it's like in the last days, and if you pay attention to the news and line up with the prophecies, you see these things coming to pass. Like your brother brought out earlier, speaking about the what is in the news about
the recession. Also, there's gonna be famine, a crisis of a famine.
right, and the monkeypox thing going on, and that's going into the plagues, and they said a recession. Now in the news, certain words they won't say because they don't want to panic the people. All right, especially in America. America, they call the Americans sheeple. All right, so they wouldn't say words like a recession because that'll put people in the panic. They'll have a run on the banks. They'll have riots and all sorts of bullshit, man. So they try to avoid these certain words, but for them to bring out that word in the news, man, that's a big deal. All right, that's the signs. That's the signs of the times, man. It's put to the point where they want you to revolt.
And guess what? And then you keep having these false flag attacks with these shootings, right?
Yeah.
And they also making up all kind of things to have stricter gun laws, like they saying regular American citizens, they could purchase gun parts, separate and put together weapons. So there's like, it gotta be more restrictions. Why? All of this is setting the stage. All these events are working hand in hand. So when they move in, it could be easier. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even though it doesn't matter anyway, Esau's blessing is a sword, but
anybody got anything? Could somebody get I think it's in Psalm where it speaks. In Psalm where it speaks about they shoot in the secret. They shoot as the secret, in private. They shoot at the perfect in secret.
Oh yeah.
Because that's basically what it's all going into, man. Everything that's happening, it's not all coincidence. First this, now it's that, now it's war. Now it's the domestic violence. You got some wild brothers get it.
I got it.
Can I just bring this out real quick?
Okay.
This is Psalms 94 and 20. It says, "So the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee." Now, the throne of iniquity, of course, represents Esau and his rulership, right? Beginning with America. Now it says, "Which frameth mischief by law," because Esau is staging events to justify the laws he's going to bring to pass, because he can't issue laws without creating a panic and creating fear. That's why you see a lot of mass shootings, of people flipping for whatever reason. Like you had this one Edomite. He went to Tops, what was that, grocery store, and he just started shooting up. Up in Buffalo, in New York, he started shooting up Jake's. But Esau had interior motives, because now with events like this, of people just mass shooting and just shooting people down, and he had another one a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, in Brooklyn. The guy just randomly started shooting people in the train station. Now he could justify, passing stricter gun laws, because if the people not armed, it makes it easier for Esau to come in, and make the people more defenseless, to issue in the new world disorder. But when you remove the arms, the people are defenseless. Verse 21, it says they gathered themselves together against the souls of the righteous. Now the souls of the righteous is the Israelites, but in this case the elect. But even the 2/3 consider the righteous in the eyes of the Most High, because they still Israelites. So Esau is coming up with ways on how to exterminate the tribes, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American. That's why he's known as the devil, which the spirit jumped on Elder Apostle Hart to actually break down the word devil. Because when you break down the word devil and go into the etymology or the true meaning of the word, it actually means a false accuser. A person that make false accusation. Because for Esau to justify his actions, he's going to have to set up false accusations. And brothers was talking about, now when you post videos, and you can see it on your own channel, like if you go to a previous video and you click on the arrow down, it will show you the transcript of your video, and it show you the minute, the second, or everything you've been saying, because everything we're saying is being monitored, and everything is going through the algorithm now. And Esau could easily take what you're saying and flip it. That's what they did with Yahweh Shah. They was taking Yahweh Shah words and they was flipping it and putting their own spin and meaning to their statements. But that's what the devil do. I'm gonna close with this. I'm gonna read it again. It says, they gathered themselves together against the souls of the righteous and condemned the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, or Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is my defense, and the Most High is the rock of my refuge. That's on that.
I got who wanted Psalm 64 and 4? This is Psalm 64 and 4. It's a lot. See, it's all right. That Psalm 64 and 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
Make up a little bit.
Okay.
Go to 1.
Go to 1. All right. This is Psalm 64 and 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power, and my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy.
And that's our whole thing, also, man. Because he come in the spirit of King David also, because King David came in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. And that enemy's, the main enemy is Esau, who is a so-called white man. Right. Especially in these times, man. We pray to the Lord to deliver our souls, man.
Right. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
That's right, man. The secret counsel of the wicked, right? The insurrection of the workers of iniquity. All right, and who's that, man? That's going into the elites of this kingdom, because really they get together and really they get together and they look for ways to really destroy the nation of Israel. And that's starting with the nation, with the elect, the men out there in the houses and byways, the men out there pushing this word. Because once the truth is out, now that's really half the battle. Knowledge is power. So they want us to be in a docile state. They want us to be on bottom feeders. They want us to destroy ourselves. Now the word is coming out, man. So now they're making all these laws, and all these red flags. Yeah, it's to destroy Israel, but mainly to target the elect nation of Israel. You know, right?
Yeah, con. Who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Yeah, they wet their tongue like a sword. See, that tongue is a sword, man. When they pass their laws, legislations. All right, like the thing with the guns, get the guns away. All right, or and then also what they say they call us hate groups, terrorists. To justify, if they was to roll on us now, they'll be justified in doing so. Not only that, they will have the sheeple helping them. Oh yeah, this guy, I know exactly where he live. All right, now if they put our face on TV, it's over. Right?
Yeah. They may shoot that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly, all right.
Perfect is the elect, man. All right, the one out there pushing this word. You know, so they want to make it look like they're the good guys. You know, and they control the narrative. That's how they wet their tongue, because this is their kingdom, right?
Yeah. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
And suddenly they shoot and fear not, because they believe that's the pride of Esau, man. There ain't gonna be no backlash. There ain't gonna be no uprising. They gonna do what the hell they want to do. They're gonna bring in a new world order, and that's that. But that's not the case, man. Because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is on our side, you know. And just to touch on that situation in Buffalo, with that shooting, I was watching the Buffalo camp, and they were speaking, and one of the brothers that live in that area, he said, "Listen, I was gonna go in that store, but the spirit had me just chill on the bench. And then when I was gonna go, I heard what happened." So that's the Lord, you know. That's how the Lord's gonna deal with the elect, even in the times to come. Direct our steps.
Earlier, moments ago, the brothers was mentioning about, you know, they basically how they staging events, right?
Right.
I was reading in the book Behold a Pale Horse by Bill Cooper, page 40. Page 40, right? Now this is talking about silent weapons for quiet wars. Esau has his weapon is a sword. He has many swords, biological, chemical. This is an economic weapon he uses, all right? It says, descriptive introduction of a silent weapon. Everything that is expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon by its creators, but only in its manner of junctioning. It shoots situations instead of bullets. So you might have them rising up prices in oil, gas, bread, you know, events that's staged, all right? Propelled by data processing instead of a chemical reaction, like the chemical reaction of that pin hitting a bullet. It uses bits of data propelled by data processing instead of a chemical reaction, originating from bits of data instead of grains of gunpowder, from a computer instead of a gun. So it uses the programming and creates the scenarios. It's called price shocking. Bread goes up, gas prices go up, it gets a reaction. They did the same thing with checking out aircrafts during World War II to see how it would be in flight, whether it was inferior. So they shoot a projectile at it in the frame to see how stable the plane was. They could do the same thing to the economy. They fuck up prices, jobs, and everything, and people be wilding out. That gets the reaction. It's the same thing, right? Now I'm gonna skip down because I keep talking. It says it makes. I skipped down. I jumped. It said it makes no obvious noise, explosive noises, causes no obvious physical or mental injuries, and does not obviously interfere with anyone's daily social life. Yet it does make an unmistakable noise, causes unmistakable physical and mental damage, and unmistakably interferes with daily social life. Yeah, because it messes with person's emotions because it's fucking up their social energy. So it has them bug out. So it's a biological weapon. It does, and no one can. A lot of people don't know what it is, so they don't know how to run for help. So they go to drugs or violence or robberies or whatever. So you know what I mean? Because the obvious person wasn't trained in school about these devices. But I'm gonna cut that. You brothers get a scripture. We not ignorant of Satan's device. I ain't gonna keep blabbering, but you get it.
In Psalm 64, real quick, can you just read I'll read matter of fact. All right. Real quick. Real first. You got it? I got it. Let him pull it up. Alright, go ahead. Alright, you got it, go ahead. 5 and 6.
This is Psalm 64 and verse 5. It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them?
And that's Esau going into what brothers going into, man. They got this thing basically down to a science. You know, they know how people gonna act and react, and they know how to pull strings to get a certain reaction out of people. So they could say, this is a good enough reason for me to do this. You know, now like the thing with the guns, the gun laws, they want the guns off the streets. So when they bring in that new world order, you know, it could be more easy.
You know what? One thing about Esau, he studies psychology. Psychology meaning psych mean the mind, ology mean the study of. The word combined, study of the mind. I remember watching this video. It should be on YouTube, and it show you how they did a experiment. I think the video was in the 80s. So they did a group experiment, and there's one guy. He got all the answers right, but what happened was everybody in the group was getting it wrong. So when they did the next test, he started getting it wrong because he didn't want to be the outsider, and he started doubting himself that he was right. And everybody was just getting all the answers wrong on the test. Like they was acting like a verbal test. And the guy, he was getting the right answers at first. Then he started looking around like, the hell? Everybody's getting this wrong. But then after a while, he conditioned himself to, uniform amongst the group. And he started agreeing with the group said. Whatever the group said, he just conformed whatever they were saying. And Esau do these tests because now when Esau actually introduced the MOTB, he knows what's going to be the statistics of the people that's going to fall in line, how many people are going to rebel, how many people know the truth, but they're not going to buck up against the government. They're just going to comply. So Esau do study to see who's going to be who. That's why it says he inquired a diligent search. So he did some study. He studies intensely. Esau even studied like you remember you sent me the video last week about how he studied the brain.
Yeah, when someone
a dying brain.
When the lady was about to the lady was about to, she was on her deathbed, and the moments they recorded her brain scans, the moments of death, and it showed the parts of the brain that was lit up the most. Meaning he's trying to tap into a person's spirit to see where it's at. Yeah,
of the brain of dying. They're studying the activity of a dying brain.
Yeah, and
because that's what Esau does. He studied intensely.
That's exactly what we're about to go into.
All right, back at Psalms 64 and 6, it says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search.
And there you go, man. And that the brother just broke that down beautifully through the spirit.
Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Yeah, every one of them, man, because they all the damn devil, from the elites to the average Joe Schmo, to do you bumping shoulders with. Best believe he's deep. He's being deep on as deep as he could be, and they all deep in wickedness. Just come a little closer, bro.
Con. This the
You know what? Give him that mic because it's not. Give in that mic.
This is the book of Ezekiel 28, verse 3, and it says, "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee."
Right, because Daniel was wise, man. He broke down all the dreams. You know, he had the Lord was dealing with him. All right, so Daniel was wise, and in that time he was the wisest. You know, he was wiser than all the sorcerers and the witchcraft they had out there. All right, they had the stargazers. You know, they couldn't deal with the king at that time. But then you had Daniel that will have all the answers, because you know the Lord was basically dealing with him. Yeah. So now you would say Esau is wiser than Daniel because he done searched out everything through his technology, through his witchcraft, man. Because he's being dealt with also from the Lord on the left hand side, you know, through Satan. He knows all these things. All right, so yeah, thou art wiser. Is more.
Yeah, more definitely. This is Ezekiel 28, verse 3, and this is, "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee." Verse 4, "With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches."
Right. Your technology, going into the history. All right, your thievery. Right.
Yep, and it says, "And has gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches."
Right, yeah, through your traffic, because you all the import and export, it has to deal with America. The business. Yeah, the business. You know, everything flows through America or flows through Esau, because they're the ones in rulership right now.
Yeah. That's why we had the slave trade. There was a trade. What is trade? Trade is trafficking. You know, which is the exchange for what trafficking is the exchange of goods and services. So in slavery, we was the exchange. They exchange us as property, and just like you go to like the DMV, you know, you go to traffic court, or you know, you driving in traffic, because they assume that, like in rush hour, you know, they call it traffic because they assume everyone is coming from work, right, doing business. That's right, around what, 3 o'clock to what, like 5 o'clock, or like 7 a.m. to maybe 9 a.m. There's always heavy traffic because everybody is, you know, they assume that everyone is doing business. People going to work or school or whatever, but most people are going to work. That's why they call it traffic. That's what it said through trafficking, because Esau is all about gain.
And it reads, "By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches."
Yeah, your heart lifted up, going into your pride.
Wealth.
Right. Wealth, and through your wealth, you know, you think you untouchable. On a low level, you look at these rappers. You know, they rap about all this bullshit, women, clothes, cars, family. You know, on a certain level, they think they're untouchable, and that's basically because, you know, they're dealing with Esau. Esau's their father.
I got some. It's backing up what Big Brother said. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem."
Yeah, in those days are coming now, man. That's future prophecy, when the nation of Israel is delivered. All right, the captivity is not actually talking about slavery, because this is our last captivity. But that captivity is basically going to salvation. We're gonna be captive. We're gonna be the Most High's Yahweh Shem Yahshua possessions. You know, if you got a possession, you wanna keep it clean, keep it right. You got his daughter, you got a son. You wanna keep them looking a certain way to represent you. So that's how the Lord's gonna be dealing with us in the kingdom.
If I may say, when it says bring again, the Hebrew word is shawab, which means to return, turn back. And it also says restore, refresh. So Yahweh Shema Shah, he's going to restore the nation of Israel, both southern and northern kingdom.
Yeah. Read again for the top.
The Hebrew word for bring again is
the scripture.
come on. Joel 3:1, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
Yeah, meaning you're gonna it's like meaning the Most High is gonna redeem us. The Most High is gonna redeem us from this captivity, because we're still, like, contrary to the public opinion, we're still slaves, but this slavery is a contract slaves. Is that Jake is not aware, or the American people is not aware of this new debt slave, because Esau, not only did he put us in slavery, he figured out a way to put his own people in slavery, and because it all go back to business, because he realized, now when we were slaves or property under the so-called white man working in the plantation, we're considered property to the slave master. So Esau, he realized, like, listen, man, this is not beneficial. We need them to be property of the state, where the state could generate revenue from it. Real quick. Now I'm gonna show you something real quick. And it says, let me scroll up. Now it says here, 15 major corporations you never knew profited from slavery, and it goes down to the list. And I'm gonna try to read a little bit from, Now you got the Lehman brothers,
Lehman
brothers, Aetna Inc., that's an insurance company, and Aetna is very popular right now. Like, as most people that's inside of a union. In most cases, you have Aetna, right? Now it says, under Aetna, the United States' largest health insurer apologized for selling policies in the 1850s that reimbursed slave owners for financial losses when the enslaved, it says African, where we understand it was Israelite, and it says enslaved Israelites, I'm going to put the word Israelites, they own died. So pretty much, you was treated like a car. You get into a car accident, something happened to you, you would file a claim and try to get reimbursed. You're like, well, this slave died, he's sick, I need money to get a new slave. I had insurance on this slave. That's how Aetna became big. So it says Aetna has long acknowledged that for several years shortly after its founding in 1853, that the company may have insured the lives of slaves, said Aetna spokesman Fred LeBurge in 2002. He expressed our deep regrets over participation at all in this deplorable practice. Now, he only apologized because it gives the corporation a bad outlook. So you have to make a public statement. Now we go down, it mentions JP Morgan Chase Bank, New York Life Insurance, okay, it says, let me see if I pronounce it right, Wachovia Corporation, not owned by Wells Fargo. That's another bank. I'm trying to point out the ones that we see today, or that we can identify.
Covered a lot. Covered the
Canadian National Railroad Company, and it goes on, But this is all Esau's trafficking. the Barclays. Nah, it says the Barclays, the British multinational banking and financial services company headquarters in London, United Kingdom, has now conceded that companies it bought over the years may have been involved in the slave trade, and I'm pretty sure the Barclays, arena goes back to this British banking system. I won't be surprised. Like the Barclays in Brooklyn, I won't be surprised because it's spelled the same. So it show you majority of these major corporations that's in existence today, they all profited from the suffering of the Lord's people. That's what the Lord mentioned about through trafficking, and He gained great gain. That you could finish that off.
It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Basically, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to gather all the heathen nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means Yahweh Shabbat. It says to plead, meaning to judge them, because all these heathens, they play a part in our captivity, a part of our destruction, so they have to pay for it.
That's going into that's going into World War III in the Saudi Arabia. But when you read what's that, Joel 2 and 20, it speaks about the Most High going to drive them into the land barren and desolate. Now something that's barren, meaning is dry. That's a desert. That's what we call a desert today, and it's desolate. And that's where because before the missiles began flying and soaring through the skies, it's going to have to be a ground battle, and that ground battle is going to take place in the Middle East. That's why it's known as the Jehoshaphat. With Jehoshaphat in Hebrew is Yahweh Shabbat, the Most High judgment, because that's where you're going to judge the heathen.
It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, yeah, and that's going into prime example the transatlantic slave trade, where they had us they had Israelites being traded for manufactured goods, tobacco, alcohol, things of that nature. And it says, yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? And that's going into the Hamites, the so-called Africans. It says, in all coasts of the Palestinians, and those are the so-called Arabs. It says, will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, which means payback, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your old head. So these heathens are going to pay. Yahweh Shah is going to pay these heathens back for what they did to the nation of Israel. And that's about putting them to captivity. And mainly Esau Edom, And after he served his captivity, he's going to be cut off forever.
I got a precept right here. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathens. He got it.
The day of the Lord, that judgment. All right, like the brother just brought out with the bad Jehoshaphat, man. All right, the Lord said, "Wait ye upon me, for my determination is to gather the nations." So when the Lord is coming, man, that's what we waiting on. We ain't trying to fight Esau. We ain't trying to get back. We ain't trying to get even. We waiting on the Lord. And what you just said, read it again a lot.
Obadiah 1 verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near.
Right, the day of the Lord's judgment is near.
Upon all the heathens, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
Yeah, and what did you do? We just gave you some sins that you've committed towards the Lord's chosen men, the apple of the Lord's eye. All right, treat us like some property, like we ain't worse, basically worse than dogs.
Oh,
property,
I got more. I got more.
Let finish it. You got it.
Says and as the heathen has done, it shall be done unto thee.
As you've done, it shall be done unto you, and we're gonna repay you double. Right.
Thy reward shall return unto thy own head.
Right.
Says,
Reward shall return onto thy own head. So when we died, and you held us, and all you said was, we need insurance, or we got insurance on this dude. So our lives had no real value. All right, and guess what, Esau? Your life ain't gonna have no value either.
That's right.
That's why scriptures say, "Rejoice and be glad." Right.
for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountains, so
The drunk upon the holy mountains, man. And the mountains represent the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And you drunk, meaning you lived well, right?
so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink and they shall swallow down.
Right, because you're gonna be in your rightful place on the bottom. All right, all these heathens that you have in derision, they're gonna look at you like, who the hell is this guy? This guy had us in derision, you know, and you're gonna be in your rightful place on the bottom, man. Where you belong.
And they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they have not been. That's it.
And Esau ain't gonna be able to do a damn thing about it.
That's right. Y'all, lift your arm up. All right. That's it. That's on it. All right. Now I'm gonna go to since we talking about World War III, World War III. Now just Joel 2:19. Yea, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and ye should be satisfied therewith. And I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen. And that corn, wine, and oil is beginning with this knowledge, because what is that in is that Zechariah, or if I'm not mistaken? And Mosiah said you're gonna return to us a pure tongue, because we received the knowledge now, so we could call on the name of the Most High. So that's us receiving the corn, wine, and oil, and we're satisfied because it's the truth. Now, verse 20, it says, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate." Now, Zechariah 3:9. Zephaniah 3. Someone could get that. Zephaniah 3:9. So I'll read it again. Joel 2:20. "But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate." Now, this northern army is not referencing towards Russia. This northern army is talking about America, because we're located in the northern hemisphere. Now I'm gonna look up this word, barren and desolate, right? Where I'm at? Okay, here we go. Look at the word barren first. Let's see what that say.
Strong's H 6723. Siyah.
So it says, for the word barren, it says dryness, a drought, desert. So the Most High is going to bring them to the desert, right? So it says, I'm going to bring him into the land of the drought or desert. And now look at the word desolate. See what that say there. Oh, it's like,
Strong's H 8077. Shemama.
What does it mean?
And second entry, Shemama.
Right, it says here devastation, a waste, so a wasteland, something that's not really inhabited, right? So we understand that this land is going to be a desert, and it goes further, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. I'll skip something. With his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea.
Now let's look here, right? That's the east will be towards the river Euphrates, and then you have down here that'll be the utmost sea, will be towards the Red Sea, and the land bearing it.
This is right here. You know, which now known as Saudi Arabia, because like
We go to the area which was known as the Fertile Crescent.
or the Mesopotamia area. Now the word Mesopotamia, Slakia, tongue twister. Mesopotamia, when you break down the word down, Meso means between, and Tamia means rivers, in between the two. Other words, in between the two rivers. Now the two rivers is referencing to is the Tigris River and you got the river Euphrates. That's why it was known as Mesopotamia or the Fertile Crescent, because these two rivers that cross through this region is what made that region fertile. Because you had the river. It's what it made it fertile, and it passed into the Persian. It would ended in the Persian Gulf. But when he got to this area here, which is the desert, they didn't receive anything from that river, so that's why it was dry. So the Most High is going to bring them here, which is now known as Saudi Arabia, and this is where the ground battle is going to take place. Before the missile gets shot off, there's going to be a ground battle, and Elder Apostle Gabar is always going to the drafts. It's going to be a draft, and somebody could get that in 16, and there's another one. It speaks about there's going to be a draft because when the ground battle takes place, there's going to be a lot of dead bodies. And somebody get on Revelation 19 and 19, I'm mistaken. It's in the 19th chapter though. So there's going to be a ground battle, and a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of American troops dead. And then Isaiah 14 mentioning too. It should not be joined with them in burial. I'm gonna read this again. So it says, and his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, and his stink shall come up. There you go. That's the military. The military that everybody so greatly want to go to and come back and receive all the benefits, get low car insurance and job opportunities. So these people that stink or odor they're gonna come up is the people that went for that purpose, but they're not gonna be returned. It's gonna be so many dead bodies dropping left and right. They're not gonna be returned. And it says, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savior, as was odor, shall come up, because he had done great things. Now, let's get that. Whatever you got first.
It's Revelation 19:19. It says, and I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army.
Go ahead.
It says, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped the image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire.
It was 18.
18?
Yeah. Start at 17. It's like it was verse 17 and 18.
Okay, chapter 19, right?
Yeah. You get Isaiah is 14 and it speaks. I think it's verse 10.
Okay.
But double check. Go ahead.
Okay, Revelation 19 and 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun.
Speak up a little louder though.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sat on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
That's the what we read in Joel the 2nd chapter and 20th verse. The army, the north, matter of fact, let me look at it again so I quote it correctly. It says, "While remove from thee the northern army." So that's the American army, and the American army is gonna be brought to Saudi Arabia, and that's what's gonna happen. So you gotta read. It said the flesh of captains.
It says that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sat on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
That's why it's going to be a draft into, because it's going to be a lot of dead bodies from the military. So they're going to have to just start sending people out there. That's why, like, when you was younger, they make you, when you went to work at Summer Youth, they make you apply for the we call that thing, so the selective service. And you a kid, you don't know what you signing. You just sign selective service because you want to work. So, but when you sign that, now you are a candidate to be sent out to war, to selected in the draft. Go ahead.
And if you notice, they'll always come to the ghettos. They'll know that Jake don't have no real options. So the only next option is you in high school, you done got 2 kids already.
Damn.
So coming out of high school, you barely graduate. Your only option is the military, and that's done by design.
That's because that's true. Because a lot of Jake, especially if you have Caribbean background, because Caribbean parents known for being strict, so they constantly pressing on you what you're gonna do after high school. So a lot of Jake don't see themselves going to college, so they just say, you know what, I'm gonna go to the military. And they're gonna get sent out there, and they're not gonna come back. They're not gonna come back. That's why Scripture say the Most High got a great supper for the birds, the scavengers, the vultures, because these bodies, they're gonna be dying. They're not gonna get buried. Go ahead, bro.
It says, verse 19, "And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army."
Him is referencing toward Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
And against his army.
His army is referencing toward the angels, because Yahweh Shah, when he returned, he coming with a host of angels. That's what Scripture mentioned. He gonna come with Michael the archangels, and along with a host of angels. Go ahead. Because they're gonna try to fight against Yahweh Shah. They're gonna paint the narrative that is a alien invasion. Go ahead.
"And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before."
That's it on that. You get Isaiah 14.
Yeah, I got Isaiah 14, 1 and verse 10.
You got a second. I just write. You got it.
Isaiah 14, verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become as thee.
Just like
Isaiah 14,
give him the mic.
The mic.
No, we'll give him this one.
Khan, this is the book of Isaiah 14 verses 10, and it reads, "All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?"
That's talking about the other nations with nuclear capability.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 11, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows."
Yeah. I'm gonna say go to the point. Go to start at 18. Go to 18.
Okay, Khan, this is Isaiah 14
The
verses.
whole chapter is good, but we're gonna hit the point. Go to 18.
Khan, it's Isaiah 14 verses 18. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. Verse 19. "But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as a remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet." Verse 20. "Thou shalt not be joined with them and burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land.
Right. It says thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because these military troops, they're not gonna be buried. They're gonna be so much taking place back to back. They're not gonna have time to bury the body or give them the honorable burial.
Right.
That's how bad it's gonna be.
Mm.
You know how they roll up the American flag and send it to the parents and thank the parents for their child service. They're not gonna receive that because there's gonna be so much going on. The body's gonna just be left out there. We read it in Revelation 19. The Most High is gonna have these birds feed on their flesh.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Khan, and it reads, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the beginning of the downfall of America, and that's how it's gonna start off with the ground battle, and that's why the Most High said he's gonna put an evil thought inside the Russians' mind, and they're gonna press the button, and they're gonna release those missiles along with other nations with nuclear capability. You know, but they're gonna start off on the ground, and then the end all is gonna be nuclear fire. Go ahead.
Khan, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Right, because when Esau goes down, that's it. You know, he's not gonna have his kids, his sons, or whatever, his daughters be put in position. He's not gonna be going to no more universities, because the universities gonna be burnt up. The fraternities that they in, the fraternities gonna be burnt up, because the Most High, he's gonna destroy this place. So that's gonna be the end of Esau's rulership, because the Edomites that's in the other parts of the world, they're gonna be put in captivity.
When they fraternities, you mean they Ivy League schools and stuff? You talking about?
Anything.
Yep, they Ivy League schools and all of that. Like Columbia, they got 2 statues, right, by the opening on the Broadway side, where it got one of them holding up an orb that says scientia, meaning knowledge. You know?
Khan, and it reads, verse 22, and I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, the remnant, and son, and nephew, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
And that's right, man. That's the judgment that's coming down, because once this place is cut off, like it says in the scriptures, what is that, man? Shalakia. Malachi 4 says, leave them root nor branch. Right. Meaning once they get cut off, ain't no coming back. Ain't no building this place strong. Like how you had the Twin Towers went down, which was an inside job. Then they built up the One World Trade Center. That ain't happening, man. Ain't no building. Nothing's gonna be left here to build. It's gonna be nothing but smoke. All right, desert animals. You know, and destruction, man. It's gonna be a desert.
Speaks about it in the next verse. Verse 23. I will also make it a possession for. Khan, this is the book of Isaiah 14, verse 23. And I will make it a possession for the bittern in the pools of water, and I will sweep it with the bosom of destruction, save the Lord. The besom of destruction, save the Lord of hosts.
Right, that's America, because America gonna be turned to a desert. Now, this is Revelation, the 16th chapter, verse 12, and it says, and the sixth angel, it says, and the sixth angel poured out his veil upon the great river Euphrates. Right right here, the great river Euphrates, and it says, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared, and the ways of the king of the east, because that's where the battle's going to take place, around here. And if you go on Google now, and you type up the river Euphrates drying up, it's actually drying up. And it says, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out the mouth of the dragon. That's pretty much it.
I was talking about.
Yeah, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out the mouth of the dragon.
That's the 3 city states you talking about. The 3 unclean spirits. Like
the dragon is talking about NATO EU, of course.
Right.
And it says out of the mouth of the beast, on the mouth of the false prophet.
Yeah, so the 3 unclean spirits, that's London, DC, and the Vatican, the Catholic Church, because DC, that's the military, political, and London is the financial, and the Roman Catholic Church, that's the religious, the false prophet. Yeah, it was with the Pope.
Verse 14, for they are the spirits of devil working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of the Most High. So it says to gather them to the battle of the great day. There you go. So that battle of the great day is the same as the battle of Yahweh Shaphat, or the battle of Jehoshaphat. So that's where the battle is going to take place. And I think that's it on that. 16 and 34. This we'll close with that.
So, you got it, or you
that selection and the wars.
16:34.
Yeah.
Second Ezra, chapter 16, verse 34. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
Yeah, so that's in this war. A lot of the military people, they're not coming back. They're gonna be slaughtered over there, and it's gonna be widows.
They go into that draft.
That draft.
And their husbands shall perish of famine.
A famine, all right. Lack of food, bread.
That's what's gonna happen. That's what going to that point of the whole draft, because we've been saying it's going to be a draft, and it's going to be a famine, because the scriptures prophesied against these events, and you see the famine coming now. You put on the news, you see gas prices rising, and you see Jake's saying to them, "So, well, I'm glad I don't ride diesel. I'm glad I don't use diesel in my car, but I'm glad I got electric, but the truckers that bring in the fuel, the food to the supermarkets, they're all using diesels. So if they can't get access to the fuel, that disrupts the shelves being stocked backed up. So if they decide to go on strike or not do their job, what's gonna happen? It's not gonna be no fuel. It's not gonna be anything in the supermarkets. Hold on, brother. Go ahead.
Oh, that's basically it for that.
So read it one more time.
I could go up a little bit, man. One more verse.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 Ezra 16 and 33. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegroom. The woman shall mourn, having no husband. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers.
Yeah, so feminism is gonna die right there. All these independent women, that's gonna die, because the supermarket is not gonna have no food. The only way she gonna have access to essential things is her having a man. You know, shit. For her, she see a damn spider, she lose her mind. So, you know, that's when the Most High is gonna bring men back in style. That's why Scripture says 7 women should take hold of 1 man, because it's gonna be a shortage of men. Right?
In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
Mm-hmm.
Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord.
Yeah, so that's the point on that. You got something?
Oh, now you got it. You got it.
All right, so close it out.
All right. So I get one scripture then.
Yeah.
Revelation 6 and 6.
I got you, bro.
All right.
So this is Revelations chapter 6, verse 6. And it reads, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts,
angels,
say, a measure of wheat for a penny."
All right, measure of wheat for a penny.
And
that's money. Go.
"And 3 measures of barley for a penny.
That represents food.
And see, thou hurt not the oil and the wine."
Yeah, that's just truth. And also, it's gonna be inflation, man. You know what I mean? A measure of inflation. So that's where we at. Where Salak. And that's gonna be a measure of that penny is money, that barley is food, and the oil and the wine is truth. And it's gonna be inflation. So you got devaluation of money. So goods are gonna be spiking, like high oil, gas prices, and things. That's what it's gonna get worse.
And food, and it's not gonna be no food out here.
But the truth's gonna still stand. You know, it speaks about the truth still gonna stand. Because no matter what happens, the Most High, He's gonna. If you're of the elect, you're of the righteous, the truth's still gonna be in your mind. That's what Scripture speaks about. What's that? Isaiah 34. It speaks about it should be the stability of thy times, because what's gonna get us through these times is having faith in the word of the Most High. Is there more on that?
No, that's it. On that, that's the point I just wanted to bring.
Nobody got nothing, right? We're just gonna close. All right. So we're gonna close with that. We're gonna give all praises and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Kodash.